Hey, how's it going everybody? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another mod spotlight. Today we're going to be taking another look at the Mountain Blade to Bannerlord in the Name of Jerusalem 2 mod, which is currently in development. Now this is a developer build that I have been given access to, so a big shout out to the team, and they have been working extremely hard to continue to add so much content, love and passion into this mod. There is currently no release date for this mod and there is no way to gain access to it, so there's no Patreon or anything else along those lines. However, you can support them by going and joining their Discord and keeping up to date with the mod over there. And oh boy, have they been cooking. They have been working away on just bringing all the factions up to scratch, improving their abilities and implementing them just to again make each faction feel as unique as possible. There are now a handful of Roman castles as well as Serbian ones. They've also implemented an entire new UI which you'll see throughout the video. There are also now off-map humans that come in for foreign relations, raiding and hiring as mercenaries, which is a really cool setup. Court positions have also been implemented for the Romans, Seljuks, Ayyubids and the Franks, however they're still very much a work in progress. There are now also new arenas for the Islamic cultures, which is very exciting. They've also entered in more religion and detail to actual population in the settlements. There are now new armors, shields and civilian clothing for all factions. The slave trade has also been implemented in for the Ayyubid and Seljuk kind of slave soldiers, and they are also working on mechanics for each of the factions, again to give them a little bit of flavor, and again whatever culture you end up playing is going to kind of really define how your campaign goes. So here is the Ayyubid Sultanate's really strong abilities. So they get jihad party limit, so they get an increase to their party limit by 35%, just allowing them to field these much larger armies. Also as well, the influence required to summon other armies as well is severely reduced during a jihad. That is something you're going to be able to call in the faction. As well as that, the desert civilization not having a penalty in desert is going to be absolutely insane. Something in this mod is when you're moving, your army gets tired, so you can only move so far, and being able to move faster than other forces and luring the Crusaders out into the desert is just super strong. As well as that, they also get a construction speed boost, and again they have reworked how buildings and settlements all kind of come into play, so that's going to be pretty useful. But also being able to siege faster is really impressive, and they also get a chance of better militia in towns, which is nice. However, because of that, they also go and get less loyalty, and that of course is going to be something very different to compare it to like the Seljuks, who get a much larger boost to their raiding speed and obviously other kind of bonuses. As well as that, when they get kind of their rogue skill above 100, they also get other bonuses as well, where bandits can follow them, which is again really cool, right? Having a certain skill will encourage other things to happen, and that's a really unique thing I've not seen in many Bannerlord mods. Also as well, having a the Silk Road increasing the income of your settlements is going to be absolutely massive. But again, comparing that to the Franks, for example, again they're going to be much more about like their probability of spawning knights in their lances, which is how their recruitment system is done in this mod, is going to be more increased, so again more elite armies. And as well as that, they're also going to have a better cultural exception rate in towns and castles, which is really important, because the more that when you conquer a settlement, you can't recruit soldiers from their lance to begin with. You're going to have to wait until the settlement is converted to your culture to some extent, and then you'll be able to start recruiting soldiers, and that can take quite a lot of time. So the Franks have a bit of an easier time of kind of conquering and then being able to recruit on the front lines a little bit quicker. However, because you have all these nations vying for the control in the Crusades and everyone's trying to kind of look out for themselves, again this internal struggle is going to make it so that bigger armies are going to fall apart much quicker and cost more influence, which again is a nice way of actually doing it. And on top of that, the Franks are going to really struggle with their villages. So again, the villages have rural communities, so cultural exception rate of villages plus 50% by other cultures. So again, if you conquer the villages, are going to take a little bit longer to come around to yours, whereas the cities and the castles are going to be much quicker. And again, you can recruit from castles as well as towns. So one thing you can also do when creating your characters, you can choose what year you start in as well, which is quite nice. So you can, I guess, kind of dictate, what part of the Crusades you actually want to fight in, and this will obviously determine your story and the other things that actually happen. You also, when playing the game, immediately start off as well with a loyalty. You are part of a faction to dive right into, and you are a landed vassal, or at least you've been given a village to begin with, and you can also choose who you do. So again, if we join Saladin, we can also choose, and again, I love how they're really trying to integrate stuff, alliances inside of that realm. So again, we can choose a house that will be really friendly to our own clan. So there's a bit more internal politics right there. You can also as well choose where you grew up. Again, this is all going to dictate like your abilities and your skills with other factions. Again, you can choose different stats, which are really nice, and these will all help you out. You can also as well choose your starting family, and again, marrying people off to other lords in your kingdom is going to be a really important thing. So like I said, you start off, and of course you start off actually like a lot further along, I would say, in the game. So not only are we married, we're also joining, and I love the attention to detail right here as well. So again, we start off, and I think there's actually these really cool events that pop up, and I think this is like a big old like war meeting basically. Saladin is currently calling, and he's inviting us to it. He's also offering us money and also a position as well. So he's going to give me a title inside of the kingdom, and then boom, we've gone into he's invited me into a political group, I believe, actually, which again is super dope. So a whole wealth of things have now been implemented into the mod. So a lot of the stuff was already kind of ongoing with the population and other things that were now in settlements. However, again, they've kind of come a long way. So you can now recruit actually religious units. I believe that's what the Mutawara are, basically like religious police. So these will be stuff that you'll be able to recruit. However, it will cost you piety. On top of that, you have the normal like lance recruitment, where you take these people from the actual settlement itself, and then if you do that, it should actually reduce the hearth. The hearth of the settlement has been reduced by 22. Basically, like you're calling the peasants to your banners and to war, and because of that, they're then leaving the settlement itself. You can also fulfill your lordships as well. So basically, people will come to you, and you obviously have to listen to the people and see what they kind of want to say, and then make a decision. And these will give you bonuses or negative stuff depending on it, and you obviously have to manage that, which is always really cool. You can obviously focus in on religious stuff as well, and I imagine piety is going to be quite important in this mod. So right now we are planning on just kind of fasting to obviously make us more pious, and this is going to give us more piety, which we can then spend elsewhere in the game. But of course, you have plenty of events in the mod as well. You wouldn't you wouldn't really be the Byzantine Empire if it wasn't for some rebellions, which you love to see. And just like that, we managed to end our feast and gain a bunch of piety, which should be added into the my score, which I'll be able to spend on a whole wealth of different things. Like now, I can spend that to immediately then like recruit some more units from here if I want to, which will help me out, just kind of bolstering my soldiers. Because again, I only have one settlement, so actually the recruitment of soldiers is going to be kind of slow and hard to do. And if we lose them in battle, that's going to add up. Not only that though, we can also manage our village. So again, we only have a village. This is all we own right now. We don't own castles or anything else along those lines, but we can come over here and we can obviously start managing the actual settlement itself. So I can build mills, irrigation, crop rotations, trolleys and carriages. These are all going to give us different bonuses. So again, this is going to increase the party speed of the villages. So they're going to be able to avoid being attacked by Crusaders or whatever. Probably really important, right? This will increase our mineral production. This will improve crop rotation, irrigation again. The amount of food products, and the mill will also help with thieves and other things. And we can also do some of these daily productions. I think we build these and then we can then work on here. And you can also see as well what we're producing. So again, we're producing quite a lot of silver. Maybe not a bad idea to focus in on that silver mine. And that should actually give us a lot more production. So this will increase the actual output of the silver and give us more money and more taxes and other things along those lines. Not only that though, we can also take a look at the settlement itself and see what religion we are, and also kind of like what ethnicities are here. We can manage the production as well of so we can again see a little bit more about our settlement, and we can kind of manage it a bit more effectively. Tax policy as well, we can also choose to either go higher taxes or lower. I imagine lower is going to increase our hearth but reduce our global taxes. Not actually by that much though. So again, I think probably the hearth increase is going to be way more important, whereas high reduces it. So again, I like that it tells you what it does instead of just going to be like, oh yeah, this will give you more money. I really like the fact that it actually just shows you like exactly the bonuses you get. I think this system should work for everything. When I click something, it should tell you exactly what you get. I mean, you can infer, well, more hearth will give us more money, like an improved wealth, and especially when you're reducing the hearth of your settlements over time, I think that's really good. You can obviously also as well store and withdraw gold as well, but I'm not really sure why you would ever leave gold here and stuff. Like, is there any reason not just to have it on you? Because I don't think it weighs anything. So maybe making it a way where gold actually weighs stuff and you have to be a bit more careful could be kind of interesting. And you can also as well transfer over slaves as well when you conquer them. That's going to really help improve your production as well. You can see right now we currently only have 20% of our kind of limit of slaves that we could push into the settlement if we wanted to. In cities as well, you can now actually go to the public area, which is kind of cool, and go to a whole wealth of things. So you can go to the hospital and get yourself treated. You can also buy some medicine as well, which will obviously help you out and help treat diseases. Diseases are a thing in the game which you're going to have to manage and obviously really get into. The slave market is now up and running, so you can also buy concubines if you want to, and you can also trade for slaves. Again, if your settlement needs more stuff, you can obviously come over here and recruit some. They're going to cost you some cash, obviously. It's going to cost you quite a bit of cash, but it's a nice way of doing it. I assume, but like the higher quality of the slave, the more like efficiency you'll get out of it in your settlement, which is pretty nice. The skill trees up here have also been fully fleshed out as well, at least the new skill trees. I don't believe they've changed any of the actual default stats whatsoever, but they have also kind of fully fleshed out the scholarship, the theology, and the lordship. These will all give you different bonuses, and they're actually really, really good. So again, if you want to be like a really good leader, having the lordship upgrade is going to be massive. This is going to give you some really good bonuses, allow you to manage more settlements as well, because they've really gone hard over here on the claim system and the party system. So you do actually have to have the appropriate claim to take settlements, which is really important. You can push these, and when you conquer settlements, you're going to have to push your claim, much like in CK3 or anything else along those lines. You can see I currently have a couple claims on these settlements because I actually have villages inside of them. Oh, I actually have 2 villages, do I? Nice, very cool. I do have 2 villages. Is it telling me? Telling me I have 2 villages. Yeah, I own a settlement all the way down here as well for some reason. I mean, I'm not gonna complain. It's probably gonna be a pretty valuable settlement down here, but I think I was given to that by Saladin, or maybe my lord gave me this just to aid me in. And oh yeah, they gave me this, I think, to actually join their loyalist party, which is a really cool thing. If that actually is how it was, I think that's what worked out, because I joined it and then he gave me money and he gave me a lordship as well, which is really cool, right? I got given a lordship to join a clan, which is very, very nice. We also have education in the mod. It's going to be important to read books, learn languages, and these will again help you out, especially if you're planning on conquering territory that isn't the same culture. Learning the language is going to really help you out. You can also as well copy books as well, because they will decay over time. But as I said, claims are going to be really, really important as you continue on. And one of the biggest things I would say in the mod. So again, I think we'll start off on this side. So settlements are really, really important. Sorry, I should say factions are really, really important if we come over to the hierarchy right here. So as you can see the family tree of all of our settlement lords right here. You can see our leader all the way at the top. However, I don't know why there's no like up and down. Is this just like my tree? I'm actually not 100% sure. I believe, yeah, this is the current government, but I don't know why Saladin isn't all the way at the top. Or maybe, yeah, I don't know why Saladin isn't all the way at the top, but maybe it's, just designed right there. We're seeing like the actual duchies and the lordships and stuff like that, which again, you can kind of, I guess, zoom across this way to see it a bit more effectively. However, one of the really important things, you can also see as well people who are like my personal tree as well, like who I'm like under and stuff like that, which I like. I really like the way you can do that. This right here is super cool. So here you can actually see the government of your faction. So right now in Saladin's faction right here, the Ayyubid Sultanate, we can see the duties as a lord. So right now I need to give 13% of my fief's income to my lord. Also, I'll need to, whenever I get called as a summons, I need to provide military aid of at least 25% of my army, or sorry, 25% of the army's duration. So I'm going to get quests when a jihad is called or when a war is called. I'm going to get a quest to join an army, and if I don't support them for 25% of their army's duration, I will get fined. I'll get issues, people won't like me, and that will come back to bite me quite hard. I'm also, again, having to... if my lord gets taken, I have to pay 20% of his ransom as well, which again is so cool, right? There's like these small things just forcing you into doing stuff. And again, you might argue like, oh, it's annoying I have to go support my lord, but it's kind of what you should be doing, you know? You should be, if you get summoned by your lord, you have to go and do it, you know? And I love that realism that they're trying to implement in. Also, we have our rights in the kingdom, so I'm entitled to own and conquer any lands whose titles I own. So again, if I have a right to someone's land and I conquer it, I will have that land basically. Again, I can also go and conquer land myself as well. I'm entitled to own any of the lands you conquer yourself. And on top of all of that, you know, again, if I'm tier 4, I'm going to actually be given a provincial title, which I think is probably a duchy as well. So again, I have to have a duchy title if I'm clan rank 4. That is by law. And again, if clans own too many settlements, that will be, you know, kind of dispersed by Saladin himself, which again is really, really nice. There's also, you know, enforcement laws as well. So the Monarch clan domain limit is increased by 35%, meaning that the actual leader can have more territories. Titles are here. The clan ranks can be revoked. And there's even like commoner stuff right here as well. Like if commoners are granted titles, they have to be able to speak the language and follow our religion, which is kind of cool. Commoners can only be granted a village rank title, and also commoners can be granted nobility as well in our kingdom. And like there's just like so much more. Again, these are our like succession laws, and this is our like war rules right here. But again, these are completely different compared to something like the like the Byzantines or the Romans. Again, 100% of land tax will be paid to the treasury in full if it is not tax exempt. So again, the Romans are going to be playing completely differently. Look how many more enforcement laws that they have compared to other people. The nomination for their succession, their themes, like, and again, that's going to be very different to the Sultans of Rome are going to have completely different laws. So each faction playthrough is going to feel really, really unique. And again, I'm sure many of you guys want to see the Crusaders as well. They're going to have a whole wealth of different stuff as well, which again, you can see they've got actually auxiliarium right there as well, which is super, super interesting. They've got feudal government. Their duties, again, are going to be very, very different. So that's just like a really cool system to make every faction feel that little bit extra cool. Next up, we also have political groups right here, and I unknowingly joined the successions in Saladin's kingdom right here in the Ayyubid Sultanate. I didn't join the royalists, which are obviously all in support of him. I joined someone with a claim. I mean, he gave me a settlement, I'm like 95% sure, so hey, it's worth it, right, in the long run. But yeah, stuff like this, you're going to have to pay a bit more attention to. I was a little bit taken off as well because again, these are all in the they're all in the language of the time. So again, I don't know what a lot of these roles actually are or mean, so you're gonna probably have to take it a little bit slower. They also have court positions in the mod as well. I think at the moment there's only one court position that has been filled, but there are several others, and these come with a salary per season. They come with influence, also the amount of them that can actually be elected, and this position is also elected by the council. I believe some can be given out. Yeah, this one, for example, can be given out by the ruler, and obviously it also comes with a condition as well. Like this one, you need to have one-handed skill. This one, you need scholarship. So again, it's kind of like a nice way of pushing you forward. And yeah, this one means you have to be unmarried. So it's a really cool system inside of the mod. I don't believe any of the laws have been adjusted. It would be cool if they do get to this, because again, I think these laws are like one of the more underrated things, and maybe combining it in with like the political groups and stuff could be very, very cool system. Castles have also been implemented. As I mentioned, we are starting to get a handful of new ones in the mod. I believe there's a bunch for the Byzantines. I think there's like 3 or 4 for the Byzantines. There's a couple for the Crusaders, and I think they look really, really nice. You have like these extra outer firing positions, and honestly, I would love for them just to, whilst they're implementing more and more, is just to give like every single Roman castle like these looks, like maybe one of the 4 or 5 that they actually have, because I'd much rather siege this a million times than siege the Bannerlord castles over and over and over again. But yeah, they look really cool. As I mentioned, there is also this Serbian castle as well, which looks really, really nice. I mean, yeah, imagine trying to siege something like this. It's going to be not so easy. But yeah, it looks really cool, especially when you make your way up to it. Again, you can see it in all of its glory. You're going to be sieging along this wall as you make your way up to the actual gate, which is somewhere. Where is the gate? The gate must be... Does this place not have a gate? How do you get in? How do you get in? Yeah, I think as of right now, at least I can't see it unless I'm blind. I don't know how you're actually supposed to get into this settlement, because there is currently no gate on it. So obviously it is very much a work in progress, but you can see the dudes were taking a look at things and making sure that the settlement is nice and safe. But again, it looks really cool. You can kind of see the design they're going for here. There are, of course, as well, still custom ones in the Holy Land. So we are all the way over here in the Holy Lands right now. You can see some of the Crusader castles. Again, they're not going to be anything fancy, but they're still just going to be kind of like just these good fortified settlements. As you can see, some workers hard here working at building up this kind of, I guess, trench line, this moat, not full of water though, as water is obviously going to be very, very precious right right there. But yeah, still, again, looking very cool castles, and again, they're just like really nice implementations of them. And you, of course, still also have some of the awesome Crusader cities as well, which have been implemented. I'm a huge fan of this one right here. You can have like archers at the gatehouse, like all firing in and stuff, and it's access through this little position right here. It's like a really, really cool setup, and yeah, and these look really, really nice. So I think that's gonna about do it for today's video. They of course also have like naval travel and stuff, and naval battles that go in on like these big old platforms. The campaign is continuing just to expand and expand, and there are still plenty of other things I didn't actually show off, but it looks really, really nice, and they're only continuing to improve the mod more and more, and I'm really excited to see them actually kind of fully release this, because yeah, as I said, there is so much stuff that they're implementing in, and this is definitely going to be one of the greatest mods out there for Bannerlord when they do finally decide to release it. Unfortunately, we don't have a release date right now, but hopefully they'll continue to work hard and we'll get something, you know, sooner rather than later, because I cannot wait to fully dive into this. If you guys do want to maybe see a early access preview of this mod in a let's play form or on streams, then do let me know down below by dropping a like and a comment. That'd really help me out, and let me know what faction you'd like to see me play as well, if that is something you guys want to see. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed, drop a like, drop a comment, and I'll see you guys in the next one.